Hey, my friend, welcome back to another episode of the Soul Podcasting Podcast. This is the place where passion, purpose, and grounded strategy come together to help you amplify your voice without burning yourself out. I'm Demetria, founder of the Soul Podcasting Collective, where I support podcasters with editing, production, and coaching, and where I help solopreneurs and coaches grow their podcasts with clarity, confidence, and sustainability. Now, if you ever want to reach out to me directly, I just want to give you a plug for how you can find me, and that is soulpodcasting.com, and a link will be found in the show notes for this. If you're on a desktop, you'll see a little pink tab on the right side of your screen, and that's where you can leave me a voice note, and you should be able to see that on your phone also. If you can't see the pink tab, you can also just reach out to me through my contact page, and I'll be sure to respond to you personally. But today's episode is going to be just a little bit different. It's not about weekly goals or metrics or even editing tips. So this time we're just going to slow down a little bit. We're going to step into the holiday season together. So I am recording this right before the Christmas holidays in 2025. And so I just thought that this would be a great way to reset. We could reflect and celebrate. And if you're listening before Christmas, I just want to wish you a truly happy holiday season filled with warmth and laughter and just the kind of magic that only this time of year can bring. And I hope your holiday's a good one. And if you're listening after the holidays, well, I just hope you still carry a little of that seasonal joy into your new year. And so I'm also going to give you a heads up here. I'll be back in just a few more days with more podcasting support and strategies and encouragement. So I want you to stay tuned for all the things that I'm about to drop in the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, be sure to check out my YouTube channel because I've been adding more tutorials and tips and behind the scenes insights to help you grow your podcast. So in between episodes, I'll be over on YouTube. All right, so that's enough of housekeeping. And for now, let's just go ahead and dive into our topic. And today is podcasting through the holidays. So the holidays have a way of slowing us down and speeding us up all at once, right? There's this excitement, the warmth, there's joy sometimes. There are lots of lights. There's smells, there's music, there's those sensory things that remind us of the season that we're in. And then there's also the rush and the pressure and all of these to-do lists, a little bit or even a lot of stress. And when you're a podcaster, especially if you are a creative, a driven, purpose-focused podcaster, all of that, all those sensory things during the holidays can be magnified. You want to show up for your audience. You want to be there for your brand, for your own sense of accomplishment, but your energy just doesn't always match what you hope to do or what you intend to do. So this is the perfect time, I think, to just pause and acknowledge where you are, whether your season feels joyful or chaotic. Maybe you're a bit reflective. Maybe you're all three of those things. Those feelings are valid. The holidays are a natural pause button for us. And it's a good reminder that we can step back and appreciate those moments that made the whole year feel rich and full, even if your podcast isn't churning out episodes every single week. And so while we're on that, let me just say that stepping back doesn't mean stepping away from your impact. It's actually quite the opposite, because the holidays are a great reminder that your presence and your voice and your stories matter much more than any schedule or metric or chart. So you don't need to push yourself into exhaustion just to make a difference. Sometimes the most meaningful connection that you can offer your listener is just showing up in a human way, a grounded way. So today I invite you to kind of lean into the season with me. And let's make this a moment to slow down and soak in all of the sights and sounds and feelings of this time of the year and just celebrate the podcasting journey that you've been on so far. Even if you've only recorded just a few episodes, or even if some weeks didn't go as you planned, that's still progress and it's still growth and it's absolutely worth celebrating. So I invite you to do that. Now let's talk about why podcasting feels so different during the holidays season. And for me at least, and many podcasters, I think December can feel like a strange mix of reflection and anticipation. You're looking back, you're reflecting on the year that you've already had, all the episodes you've created and all the lessons you've learned and all the listeners that you've hopefully impacted. And at the same time, you're also peeking ahead to the new year and you're thinking about all the ideas that you want to bring to life, all the goals you want to crush, and maybe even all the content you have to schedule out. And there's that tension between the two, wanting to celebrate what you've done, but knowing that there's so much more ahead. It's completely normal to feel that tension, and I'd argue that it's something that you should actually embrace. It's the season that reminds you that you're alive and you're growing and your creativity is not a machine. This is who you are and this is what you bring. And some days you might feel inspired to really just create a lot of stuff, right? You just want to create. And some days you just want to rest and reflect and recharge. Both of these types of days are necessary and both are valuable. And the important part is that the holidays can show us what truly matters in our podcasting journey. It's not always about frequency or downloads. And it's not about fancy editing. It's about connection. It's about authenticity. It's about using your voice to create a space where your listeners can feel seen, heard, and supported. Even if it's just one episode with a short story that's from your heart, that's enough. And it's meaningful, it's impactful. And I want you to really hear me when I say you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have a holiday themed episode just for the sake of it. You don't even have to post every single week if that's not what your energy allows you to do. The holidays are an invite. Look at this as an invitation to podcast with intention, to give yourself permission to slow all the way down and to remind yourself why you started this podcast in the first place. So let's take a moment to celebrate podcasting itself, because sometimes in the rush of creating all that you create and then going back and doing your edits and then promoting, then tracking your numbers, we forget why we've been doing all of this. Podcasting, I think, is a gift. At least for me, it has been one of the biggest gifts that I've allowed myself to receive, and stepping into podcasting was one of the best decisions I've ever made. I think it's a gift not just for your listeners, but for yourself, because every time you hit record, you're giving your ideas, your wisdom, and your voice to the entire world. Every episode is like a moment of courage, just a tiny ripple that might touch someone in ways that you can't even measure. And we're not going to forget about community building, because that is a huge part of podcasting. Your listeners, every single guest that you have on your show, the other podcasters who inspire you, being part of that space, of this podcasting space in general, it's a blessing. And likely you've had moments where someone may have thanked you or messaged you or shared how that your episode encouraged them. Hold on to those comments and to those moments, because those moments are the heartbeat of why we do what we do. They remind us that every single step, every recording, every edit is worth it. And even if you've only managed a handful of episodes this year, once again, that's still progress. So even if some weeks feel like struggle, hey, you showed up, right? You brought out your microphone and you took the time to record an episode, publish it, release it to your listeners, and then you kept doing it, even if you've only done it 2 or 3 times. And I think, again, that is worthy of celebration. And for many of you, the holidays are the perfect time to just reflect on all of those wins, both big and small, without judgment, without comparison, and just with gratitude. And if you've been wondering whether anyone notices the work that you're putting in, let me assure you that they do. Someone out there is noticing, someone is listening, and your audience feels your care, your authenticity, and your commitment. So today, we're going to celebrate you, your journey, and everything that you've accomplished in this creative, wonderful, and messy space that we call podcasting. So I'm going to share just a few reminders for you for the holidays, the kind I wish someone had shared with me when I first started. And I want you to take these as gentle and loving guidance rather than rules, okay? There's no hard set rules in podcasting, but I'm always going to be encouraging you along the journey. So first of all, remember that your podcast doesn't need to perform during the holidays. You're allowed to post less. You're allowed to take a pause or even simply record a short episode with a heartfelt message. It could even just be a 5-minute episode. The value of your show isn't measured in the numbers, but it's measured in your connecting with your audience, your being authentic, and your presence. Secondly, staying connected doesn't require perfection. A simple reflection on your life, a story from this past year, or even a holiday greeting can mean the world to someone listening. Your voice can be a source of comfort for someone who really needs to hear you. It could be a source of joy and just a reminder that someone out there cares enough to reach their microphone every single week. And thirdly, remember that consistency is not about volume. It's about the trust that you're creating with your audience. Trust is built when your audience knows that they can count on your voice to show up in a way that's real and meaningful. That might mean weekly episodes, but again, it might mean monthly or seasonal, whatever fits your energy and your life rhythm. And finally, I want you to give yourself permission to rest. As I've mentioned earlier, you can take a pause. You don't have to bulldoze your way through the holidays with extra episodes if that is not what's making you happy right now. And also remember that the holiday is a time to slow down and rest and recharge. So if taking podcasting off of your plate throughout the rest of the holiday season is what's going to give you the mental capacity you need to come back in the new year and really come in strong, I highly recommend that you take that break. Podcasting is a journey and it's not a sprint. The most sustainable creators are the ones who honor their rhythms and their limits and their voices. Holidays are a natural time to embrace that and to remind yourself that doing less sometimes allows you to do more. And that's true not just in podcasting, but in your life. So as we wrap up this episode, I want to take a long, heartfelt moment to just thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to Soul Podcasting this year. I plan to have another episode or two before the new year, but I might not because again, I'm taking my own advice and taking my own medicine as well. So I may actually go on break, but if I don't, and if I do come back, one of the plans that I have in coming back with a new episode before the new year is to go through a little list of the guests that we've had on this show this year and to thank each and every one of them for being part of Soul Podcasting in 2025. And so I usually like to do that every year just to sort of end my year with gratitude by extending that to all of my guests. And so I may do that, and I might actually have one more interview as well. So we'll see how all that pans out. But meanwhile, I'm just so grateful for you. And I just want to thank you for being here and for trusting me with your time and for being part of this community, for listening and not just to one episode, but multiple episodes. You guys have been so faithful with listening to this show this year. And I'm just blown away when I look at the numbers and I see how many people are tuning in to Soul Podcasting and where they're tuning in from all over the world. It's amazing to me. And I don't know what happened, but sometime after April, this podcast started to really gain some more traction. And I'm just really happy about that. So I know that your presence matters. So I don't take that lightly that you're listening to me weekly. So again, thank you. If you are listening before Christmas, I just want to wish you a truly merry, joyful, and cozy holiday season. Merry Christmas. And may you be surrounded by warmth and love and laughter and all the little joys that make this time of year so special. If you're listening after Christmas, I hope you still carry some of that holiday magic with you, even as we head into a fresh new year. And remember, I will be back in just a few days with more podcasting support and insights and encouragement to help you grow your show with intention. And in the meantime, don't forget to check my YouTube channel because I'm adding more tutorials, tips, and behind the scenes content to help you continue building out your podcast, even in the gaps between episodes. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for showing up and for being a part of this journey and for allowing your voice to be heard. Stay soulful, my friends. Enjoy the holiday season. And as always, happy podcasting.